Well, as promised, Scott from Scott's Small Farming and Things, I'm going to give a quick little tour of the crops here and how they're doing. We are still in a drought here in Iowa. We are way below normal on moisture. But almost every stalk has 2 ears on it, at least. And they're all silking now. And as you can see, the corn's tall. It's even taller over here. Like a good foot of even being able to reach the top of it. So it's a good stand. It's looking pretty good. Bad thing about riding along so that I can film is I have to get the gate. This is the 16-acre cornfield that lies west and north of the house. It's in an L shape. This, like I said, the 16-acre field is L-shaped. This is the south end of this is the L part of it, and we're on the east part of that L. We're going to be turning east now, north of the buildings. There's a little barrier between the deer fence and the field that I mowed. We are at the northern boundary of my property. This is the 24-acre cornfield on the left here, and moving to the right is the 16-acre cornfield where you see the pine trees right directly in front. That's the north side of the building site. And over, not those trees there, and not the ones in the foreground, but the middle part, what we're looking at is the western boundary of the property. Here you will notice on the left the 8-foot tall deer fence. If we don't keep this deer fence up in the winter, the deer move in there and just decimate these trees. They can do a lot of damage. Look at all the ears. We'll see how well they fill out, but there's a lot of sweet corn popping up, and the sweet corn is a really good crop. So if that's any indication of how the field corn is going to be, it's going to do really well. These first couple rows right out here in the road never do good. Never do good. And here we are again. We're heading east along the north side of the building site, north of the pine grove. Some of these old Norway spruce trees have reached 80 feet in height, and they were mature trees when I was a kid, and I'm 65. It is actually amazing, actually astonishing how good the crops look for as dry as it has been. It is just unbelievable. The stand is nice and even, everything is nice and green. We're still mowing lawn. We have to mow lawn every 4 or 5 days, and this is the time of the year when we move into our dry season anyhow, but we were dry last summer, last fall. The snow we got in the winter had no moisture in it. We had very little rain this spring, very little. We've been in a drought for over a year now. Notice how nice and even the stand is. It looks fine. It looks absolutely fabulous. Couldn't ask for much more. On both sides of the road. This is where we just came from, cornfield number 2. And cornfield on the right. It's 24 acres. The one over here on the left is 16. Small fields by today's standards, but when we farmed them, they were big enough. And this cow here is the weather girl. She can't decide whether she likes us or not. Barb and I have come out today to pick raspberries, and we're on a pretty hot spot, and we're thinking it's because of the drought. There's just loaded with berries, absolutely loaded, but they're not maturing. I think it's a lack of moisture. It makes sense that that's what's going on. They're just, man, they're thick, but they're not doing anything. This whole fence row here, along here, and about 10 feet out into the neighbor's property over there is just solid raspberries, solid. All of them like that, and they're just not producing. There's some nice ones every once in a while. Some of them aren't quite ripe yet. They're big, the ones that are making it. One thing about raspberries, you earn what you pick. Hey man, these thorns will tear you up. I'm wondering, this spot's more in the shade, if this has done better. Evidently not as good. And here is our hot spot. Usually we come here every year. I'm a little bit far away, but you should be able to see as I move through here. This is tight going through here. I have to watch. There's a good drop off on my left and my right. Drop off into that. A long ways down. Look at the berries. Look at all of them. They just seem to be just drying up. Wow. If these would ripen, you could pick 5-gallon pails full of berries. Hardly even move. There's a few down through here. They're really tough to get to. I'm going to go up and turn around. Solid raspberries. Absolutely solid. All the way up through, even up through here. Thousands of them. If they would just ripen. Oh, thousands of them. There's a major crossing there. I don't know if it's deer or coon or both. And for those of you in YouTube who do not know what this is, it grows native in Iowa. This is native marijuana. And it is no good. It doesn't have the THC content like some of the better grades of marijuana have. This will grow pretty big too. The stalk will get so big you almost have to cut it with a chainsaw. And I'm not kidding either. These are small. There's several of them here. We don't have much of it because we mow it all off. Otherwise it can grow pretty crazy. This is nettles. That's a lot of fun to come in contact with. Badger den. That's as close as I'm going to get to it. Let's leave them alone. They're bad to the bone. just made, there's a crop duster, I don't know if you can see it way off in the distance. We just made the second crop hay and got everything hauled off. The rake sits right over here yet. You probably can't see that crop duster. He's a good half a mile away. But there's the 8-acre cornfield. This is a 34-acre field. We have the outside perimeter set aside for hay, the steepest part of it. And these are the soybeans. If you can see in the foreground past the tree line directly in front of us, there's a soybean field over there. And Scott, I'm not going to run over there tonight. If you give me a rain check, I'll show you the field over there some other time. It's 1.5 miles over there, or I got to go all the way back through the woods to get there. I can do it either way, but I need the fuel, and it's been hot. I've had enough for one day. So anyway, I'll take a rain check if you give me one. And here's the one soybean field here. I can get a little bit closer, get a little better view for you.